This time, a few months ago, I literally documented a live trading challenge that I could not complete as a result of something to do with a prop firm. So if you haven't seen that video, then be sure to watch that video after this one. But this time last year, the major differences between most prop firms was literally no time limit, obviously price changes between all the different prop firms as well. Some had a few different rules. So back then there was quite, there was actually different prop firms that you could choose. But now in this current time, most prop firms are kind of the same thing. They all, compete against each other. So they all have similar rules. So everything is pretty much identical, but a few minor changes between some prop firms that give some an advantage and some actually are just you shouldn't use at all. So before choosing a prop firm, there are 4 things that I believe that you need to consider, which are super important as a trader. And we're going to go through that today. So first is its reputation. This is massively important. Yes, we can see that obviously the big dogs, so my Forex fund, for example, was one of the big dogs and it eventually kind of got taken down, right? If we're to look at it plain and simple. Yes, but that doesn't mean you don't want to go for the prop firms with good reputation, the ones that are still the big dogs, because in theory, these are the ones that are still going to last longer, technically. The ones that are sort of new, I personally never go for them. I don't really trust it, because one thing I realized just looking at all the prop firms is that the ones that are sort of new or a bit like sketchy have so much rules in between them that you don't realize until you've maybe passed a challenge and now you're about to get your withdrawal, then you find out that you can't get it because of different reasons. So you want to make sure that you're aware of how popular this prop firm is, and you usually want to go for the ones that have been there for long. For example, FTMO. Something like FTMO has stand the test of time. These are the ones that you will have confidence in actually using. So FTMO falls into one category of prop firms. I think they are like the major prop firms, and then you have the HFTs prop firms. HFTs prop firms are these that allow you to use AI basically. They allow you to kind of use a bot, pass the challenge literally in 1 or 2 days, and then you can start trading. There are a few prop firms that fall into this category. Some of them is Cortana, which most of us should have heard of. We also have Nova, Quantech. What separates these from the major prop firms that we know like FTMO, TFT, and some of the big dogs that have actually existed for a while is that number one, the profit cap usually lasts for several months with HFTs. That is why I don't really like using them. There's one that I think I looked into the other day, and literally you have to wait, I think, several months before you actually get that like 80% profit that you would get with the main prop firms like FTMO, right? So literally, if you were to pass the challenge today, you're literally capped at making 5%, and on that 5% that you make, the profit split is now another 50%. So in other words, you're very capped on how much you can make. So whatever the prop firm is, whatever account it is, you're barely making anything. And the sad part is you have to do this for, I think, 4 months consecutively before you now reach the point where you're actually getting proper payout. And they know this because most people might not even reach the point where they're getting 4 payouts in the first place. So most people barely even get to the funded stage. For you to now get 4 payouts, you can see that's extremely slim. So that's how they make their money. So I'm not saying these prop firms are bad. It's just, you need to know what kind of person you are, right? Now, the second thing is high pricing when it comes to these prop firms as well. They usually are pretty expensive because they know that you're able to pass this guaranteed in literally like 24 hours. You see many ads of people promising that they'll help you pass your challenge. Yes, it's these kind of prop firms. They'll literally pass your challenge in about 24 hours. So for that reason, the prop firms make money by increasing the fees of these accounts. So that's how they're able to sustain themselves. And now the third thing is usually they are limited to certain platforms. So I know something like Cortana is literally limited to MT4 and one other broker. So right now we know that the platforms to actually trade on is therefore techie. You don't want to be stuck on just using MT4 because that can go south anytime soon. So yeah, these are the things you want to be aware of, because you don't want to pass the challenge with a prop firm and you're stuck with that prop firm, right? And you're not getting your payouts on all these headaches are happening. So I personally recommend using the major prop firms, right? But if you want to use the HFT prop firms, then you need to know what to expect. But most of the time you want to dig in properly because there are major rules that you will not be aware of until later on down the line. Now, the second thing you want to look out for is discounts. There are some prop firms that are just heavily discounted. They always have discounts 24/7, right? So you never want to pay full price for these prop firms. A good example of this is Funded Next. 99% of the time there is a discount. So just search on on the web, try to find some sort of discount out there to pay for whatever challenge you want, because it just makes your money go a long way, right? If you can get like a 100k account for half the price, you might as well go for that. Just make sure that you're always applying those discounts if you do find it. Now, the third and probably the most important ones is raw spreads and no commissions. This is one of the newer things that have been introduced by a few prop firms, right? You're able to choose an account that you want to use. Before, you kind of just have the account and you just deal with whatever broker and the spreads that they give you, but now you can choose. So this gives you an option. And why this is so important is if you are a scalper, I personally trade on a 5-minute chart and I trade supply and demand. So my trades are super tight, small stop losses. So I personally need very good spreads. I can't deal with spreads being too crazy because I'm in and out of my trades in literally 10 to 15 minutes. If you do want to join my mentorship, then there is a link down below. You can literally join for just $1 for 7 days, so be sure to check that out. But with the way I trade now, I have used the brokers with, you know, no commission, and I've noticed that every no commission broker is super peak when it comes to spread. Most of the time it's like I'll enter here, the trade enters me here, and why that's a problem is because I'm already leaving this trade in literally a few minutes. If my entry is now here, this is messed up with where my exit is going to be, and I'll have to hold longer, and that messes up with my strategy, right? So I need super tight spreads. But the thing to note with the raw spreads is that they usually have a bit more commission. So I literally found a cheat code to get around all of this. So one of the platforms I do use is ACG, and with them, if you literally use the low spreads plus your trading indices, literally the sweet spot. Because with indices like gold, NAS, I'm literally getting almost no commission at all on any trade, plus the raw spread, so everything is just perfect. I get the exact entry that I want, no commission, so the trades are cheap and I'm not losing that 30% at the end of it. So for me, this is like the sweet spot for my trading, hence why I don't really have to move to futures or anything like that. Plus I'm in the UK, so I don't actually have that much pressure to do so. So that's what I found. But if you're somebody who does not scalp like that, then by all means, you know, go with a no commission, because you'll save a ton of money, and you're not, you know, when you enter, it doesn't need to be super tight. So their spreads is also decent on their no commission account, so it's not, you know, it's not too shabby. It's bad, but it's not that bad if you're someone who's a swing trader, or you leave your trades in about, let's say, 2 hours to maybe 4 hours, then I would say that's also fine. But it's something you want to keep an eye out for, because some prop firms are starting to introduce the option to actually pick which one you want. Next, you want to find out what brokers that these prop firms are associated with. Most prop firms I've seen use 8cap. 8cap isn't bad, but that's like a general one. There's also Think Markets, but I have found that the prop firms that have their own and not associated or using another broker, they usually have the best spreads, their trading experience is just better on these prop firms. And some examples is FTMO. They have their own, they don't actually use any other secondary broker. We also have ACG, they also have their own. The third is also True Forex Funds. I really like them. To me, they were my favorite. Right now, they're no longer with MetaTrader, so not really my favorite anymore. But in terms of trading experience, they were my favorite. The spreads were beautiful, but they also have their own. So you can literally see like my top 3, I would say, kind of, are the prop firms that literally have their own trading broker, right? They have their own space. So that is something you want to look out for. These for me are the better ones. The ones that actually use a secondary broker, these aren't bad also, but you know, just know what comes with it, right? Sometimes they don't really have that much control over the spreads and all the other issues. Now, whilst we're talking about brokers, I'm hoping you haven't been under a rock, but you currently know that Bitcoin is doing absolutely crazy. It's almost at all-time highs, and this is also affecting Ethereum as well. So now many of us might want to actually start trading Bitcoin as well, right? You might want to start trading cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin is one of the best to trade. And most prop firms don't actually offer this. The prop firm I use as well doesn't even offer the chance for you to trade this. So if you do want to actually start getting into things like cryptocurrency, then I'll recommend you look into Vantage. Vantage is a platform that you can use to do this. They have been reputable for a while. They've been in the game for a long time, so you can definitely guarantee that withdrawal and all of that is very easy and straightforward. This is an all-in-one platform for you to trade indices, crypto, forex, everything that you would need, and all you need is a small deposit to actually continue. And they've also provided anyone watching this video with a promo code for you to use. All you have to do is go onto your profile on the Vantage app, you see coupons, and just use the promo code that I will leave down in the description below. So if you want to start trading with Vantage, or you're looking for some kind of broker, then I'll definitely recommend you check out Vantage. The link will be down in the description below, and thanks again to Vantage for sponsoring this video. So those are the 4 things that you want to look out for. It's super important. Just do your research. But thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you guys did find some value. Be sure to subscribe if you did, and be sure to like the video as well. It helps the channel massively. Click on one of the videos on the screen to watch more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.